Hello, and welcome to the Kathleen Spracklin podcast. I am a woman on a mission to gather a cadre of writers, thinkers, and teachers who are transforming the world one character at a time. And it all starts with one thing: a deep understanding of human motivation, why people do what they do, and the forces that drive them. To gain that understanding, I am mining the intersection of psychology, theology, and philosophy to make you a better writer. This is episode 122, Zettelkasten Uses of the Bib Card. Heiner, this video is for you. Thank you for asking your question. Heiner wanted to know that in some sample bib cards that I had shown, there were some numbers along one side of the bib card. And he wanted to know what those numbers in red meant. So I made a jumbo bib card so that I could share this with you, and not only share with you what those numbers mean, but a little bit more about how I use the bib card in the short term and in the long term. So this is some more information about the very, very useful bib card. Okay, here is the real bib card. There's a lot of information on it, and there are numbers down the side, and the little dot just means the same page number as above. So here's one of the entries blown up large enough that we can share it. That number, 10, just tells me that this was on page 10 of the book. What book? This bib card. Peterson and Seligman, Character, Strengths, and Virtues. And for me, this is card number 8. So the particular card is where Peterson and Seligman are talking about how they plan to go forward to unpack the notion of character, strengths, and virtues so that they can move forward with their studying of it. And two of the things that they mention that are captured in this note, which is the same as this note here, are that they're going to separate the individual strengths and virtues so that they can get a list of them, which they plan to classify. They long for a taxonomy but couldn't find one. They're going to classify them. And then they want to create assessments to evaluate them. And then further down the bib card, they talk about what they want to do with the assessments and the value that they hope to get out of it. But I'm going to focus on one entry so that I can show you what happens to the bib card when I make a main card for this. So I made a main card for this, their plan, to specify and assess the character, strengths, and virtues, what they want to do with it, and my reaction. My reaction is that I'm going to keep an eye out as they tell me about their assessment. I'm going to keep an eye out for how this can be valuable for a fiction writer who's trying to capture a character. And in particular, if they come up with assessments, I want to know about those assessments, because that can be very, very valuable, because now you're down at the factual level. It can give you a richness that you'll never get out of a discussion of character traits, or of a book like How to Describe a Character Trait. So I'm ready to file this main card, and I need to know where it's going to go. So for that, I go to my trusty index, and I find the most closely related card. In this case, the most closely related card, and I write it down on a little handy scratch paper somewhere where I can read it off to go pull it out of my Zettelkasten. And in this case, the card number that it's closely related is 4B1B, where the description was character leads to the good life. So this card needs to go right next to 4B1B. So I pulled out 4B1B, and there's the card. We actually covered this in a different video. But what I noticed right away, by the presence of a directory card, this is already a very busy card. already there are 4 separate cards that each want to be right next to 4B, 1B. And if you think about it, each one of those 4 have the same right to be right next to it, just like each child in a family has the same right to call mom and dad parents. Well, we are using the effortless numbering system here, so that means our new card will simply be 4B1B-5. We'll just add it to the list, and that's what I'll do to the card. It becomes 4B1B-5. That's its number. Now, I'm going to do something else over here on the bib card. On the bib card, I'm also going to note 4B1B-5. Now, I didn't get to show you that with bib cards before. I usually draw a line to separate them, and then I put the reference number. I usually use blue so that it's different from the black of my writing, or if I'm whatever number ink color is going to stand out. But now my bib card will tell me where this card went in my Zettelkasten, which can turn out to be very handy in the future. And likewise, the card that I made from it also leads back to the bib card. So the pointers go both directions. Very handy. Now, something else I do on the front side of a bib card. You know, our first bib card was a pretty busy fellow. It had the title of the book, the subtitle, the author, the publication date, the publisher, all kinds of information that you would need if you needed to make a bibliography reference from this card. But from card 2 on, all the actions on the back. Well, so I use the front side as a quickie way of indexing what is present in on this card. Because when I get a stack of bib cards going, and if I'm really deep reading a book, I might end up with quite a stack of bib cards from that book. I can effectively read the book by going through the bib cards and recollecting these topics. Oh, they plan to specify the character strengths and virtues and to assess them. Is that what I was looking for? And I can flip through the cards, and many times the whole book will come back to me. And if it doesn't, I can flip it over and there's a little bit more wording. And if it's important and I'm getting close to what I wanted to figure out, and that still doesn't do it for me, no problem, I got the page number in the book. So I can go back through, and I have effectively practically reread a book just by reading through the bib cards that I collected for the book. And when I'm on the track for something and my index failed me for some reason, I must have been thinking about it in a different way when I indexed it, because it's not there now the way I'm thinking about it. I can run through these cards, and with these topic listings, I can find it really fast. And then I make some more index entries because I missed where I was going to be thinking about it. So that is the power of a bib card. Bib cards live for me. That's why I have shown you in the past that I have all of these bib cards. They're just enormously valuable. They are not just a working tool to build main cards. They are a priceless part of my system. So thank you very much, Heiner, for your questions. And this is kind of marks the official end, if you will, of my podcast. But I did a little something today. Well, actually, it was a lot of something. It took most of the day, but I wanted to share it with you. I created a separate playlist of just the Zettelkasten videos. And I was a little bit frustrated with it because I can't group them in any way in YouTube. I get 2 choices. I can list them in the order they were created, oldest first, or newest first. That's it, oldest first or newest first. And I don't get any more choice than that. But because so many of my podcasts, like this one, is answering a specific question, the topics kind of jump around. This isn't a lesson like my 35-week course for writer moms. This is just a daily sharing of what's going on. So it's going to be a little bit scattered. So I took the next step over in LilyPub. So I wanted to show you what it looks like over in LilyPub. Now, I've mentioned LilyPub before, and you can click it off if you're not interested. It is a subscription platform. It's $8 a month US. But then once you get over there, all of this Zettelkasten stuff is free, and we have writing courses for free. It's at this moment, there's not everything else once you get in there is free. Although we do plan one day to have intermediate and advanced courses that cost money, but right now everything there is free. And I want to just show you a little bit about what you can get if you go over there with regard to the Zettelkasten. And let me share my screen. Okay, now here it is. This is LilyPub over here, and we are in the circle for Zettelkasten. You kind of have to scroll down on the side to get there because it's kind of far down the list. Look at all the stuff that's available on LilyPub. But over here in the circle for Zettelkasten, under tutorials, you will see all of the videos that I've done so far in podcasts that relate to the Zettelkasten, and they're organized. There's 2 on the structure of a Zettelkasten, a whole bunch on card numbering, and they're grouped by the type of system, a bunch on main cards, active or analytic reading, bib cards, which this one is going to go into the bib card list, on the index, and finally on the syntopical reading using a Zettelkasten, and even a few on how you work from a Zettelkasten, like yesterday's, how do you make something out of your Zettelkasten once it's done. So if YouTube works for you, there's now a playlist. It's just chronological, but it's there. And if you want to join us over on LilyPub, love to have you. And we also have conversation areas where we can talk about and chat, have some wonderful conversations over in LilyPub about Zettelkasten, about writing, about many different topics. So I hope to see you over there. And that is all for tonight. And I will talk to you again tomorrow. Thank you. Bye-bye.